Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. Imagine giving away 80% of your most vital resource to your biggest rival and calling it a peace. But was it really a peace or was it appeasement? So this is related to something called as parliamentary debate, where Jaishankar says Indus Water Treaty was for appeasement. The exact terms of treaty and what Nehru said is mentioned in this article. Which now Indus Water Treaty, which was signed in 1960, that is Indus Water Treaty, which has survived wars, betrayals, as well as decades of deep hostility between India and Pakistan. But today, it has come roaring back into the headlines with India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, who is openly calling it a historic mistake. That is, a treaty which was signed not because of strength but out of fear. This is called by S. Jaishankar, as you can see here. Okay, so that is why, remember this thing. So in this video, now we are going to cover the controversial agreement that divides 6 mighty rivers. And what did Jawaharlal Nehru really say in parliament? Did India lose more than it gained? Did Pakistan truly get 80% of the water? And most importantly, why does India's 64-year-old treaty, why this 64-year-old treaty still matters in 2025? So stay with me till the end, because what you are about to learn will change how you look at India's foreign policy forever. So first of all, what is Indus Water Treaty? Now, the first thing that we need to understand, what is Indus Water Treaty? Now, this Indus Water Treaty, which was signed between India and Pakistan in 1960 with the help of World Bank as a neutral third party, and it is one of the most enduring water sharing agreement in the world, still in force today despite wars as well as tensions between the two countries, that is India and Pakistan. Now, what does this treaty say? Now, as you can see here the map. Now, what does this treaty say? So let's talk about this treaty is all about. So this treaty divided the 6 rivers of Indus River system into eastern and western rivers. Now, what are eastern rivers? Like, as you can see here. So what are eastern rivers? Satluj, Ravi and Beas. These 3 are considered as eastern rivers. These 3 rivers are considered as eastern rivers. Then these 3 rivers, eastern rivers, given to India for exclusive use. These 3 rivers given to India for exclusive use. Now, okay, now come to other rivers, western rivers. Now, what are western rivers? Indus, Jhelum and Chenab. These 3 rivers are considered as western rivers. Okay, these are considered as western rivers. Jhelum, Indus, Chenab. These are given to Pakistan, though India can use them, but in limited ways. Okay, India can use them, but in limited ways. Now, the question here is, what kind of water use is allowed for India in the western rivers? So this is the question, what kind of water use is allowed for India in western rivers? So first, let's talk about India is allowed to use for domestic purpose. So domestic use is allowed. Domestic use, it is allowed. Second, non-consumptive use. Non-consumptive use. Now, what is this non-consumptive use? Like navigation, fishing and flood control. Then India can use for agriculture purpose also, agricultural use. agricultural use. Now agricultural use but within limits. Then hydroelectric power generation, hydroelectric power generation. Okay, now hydroelectric power generation without affecting the flow of a river. Now non-consumptive use means India can use water but must return it to the river with no major loss of volume. Okay, now why do some say Pakistan got 80% of the river? Now let's try to understand that why do some say that Pakistan got the 80% of the river. So the reason here is they claim that Pakistan got 80% of water which comes from, if you compare, from a comparison of water volume. कैसे अब compare करेंगे अगर, so western rivers going to Pakistan, so let's try to understand here. Now if we see western rivers, so as you can see here, so western rivers like Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, these are western rivers, these are going to Pakistan. Now why these western rivers are important here? Now western rivers which are going to Pakistan, they got 135.6 million acre feet. They got 135.6 million acre feet. Okay, million acre feet. Eastern rivers which are going to India like Beas, Satluj and Ravi, these three rivers, eastern rivers, these are going to India. But if you compare, so India got only 32.6 million acre feet. India को कितना मिला? 32.6 million acre feet. This is the issue. So yes, in terms of volume, Pakistan got a much larger share, but India got exclusive control over its rivers and built major projects. But India के पास control है in rivers का, and that is why India has built major projects like Bhakra Nangal Dam, as you can see here, Bhakra Nangal Dam, है ना? Then Indira Gandhi Canal, earlier it was called as Rajasthan Canal. So this is Indira Gandhi Canal, earlier it was called as Rajasthan Canal. Now what did India pay under the treaty? अब India ने इसमें क्या पे किया, है ना? So what did India pay under the treaty? So let me tell you, India paid around 62.06 million pounds. Okay, India ने कितना पे किया? 62.06 million pounds. Okay, now अब ये कितना हुआ? It is around 83 crore rupees at that time, and this amount in 10 installments to Pakistan. किसको दिया? पाकिस्तान को. Now why Pakistan got this money? This money was to help Pakistan build canals, irrigation infrastructure that it lost during the partition. But Pakistan ने किस लिए यूज किया होगा? सभी को पता है, terrorism. Clear? So the rest, about 60%, came from international aid from the countries like United States of America, UK, Canada and West Germany, New Zealand as well as World Bank. Now, based on this treaty, what did Jawaharlal Nehru say in Parliament? अब Jawaharlal Nehru ने Parliament में क्या कहा था उस समय? Now, let me tell you, on 30th November 1960, Jawaharlal Nehru gave a speech in Parliament explaining this Indus Water Treaty. He said that engineers, not politicians or diplomats, negotiated the deal after 12 years of hard discussion. It is all about engineers. That is why Jawaharlal Nehru praised Indian engineers for protecting India's water interest. And he also argued that refusing water to Pakistan just because of partition would not be fair or just. ये कहा था Jawaharlal Nehru ने. And he said if there were no agreement, even India would not benefit as long as term planning, है ना? So term planning would be, so long-term planning would be impossible. That is why Nehru said that we have purchased the peace. हमने peace खरीदी है. We have purchased the peace, which means the money and the treaty were worth, okay, that the money and the treaty were worth it if they led to peace with Pakistan. Okay, so Nehru said this is a turning, you know, he is actually turning a great part of West Punjab into wilderness is not our aim. So let's not create uncertainty, but rather benefit both the sides. You know, this was said by Jawaharlal Nehru. Now, what did Jaishankar say recently? So what did S. Jaishankar say recently? So let's try to understand. Now, recently, S. Jaishankar, he said on 30th of July 2025 in Rajya Sabha, who is the external minister also, he criticized Jawaharlal Nehru and the Indus Water Treaty. Now, what did he say? He said that India gave away its river without securing the full rights. And that is why S. Jaishankar quoted the speech of Jawaharlal Nehru, and he said that Indus Water Treaty was not just about peace, it was for appeasement purpose. And that is why he criticized Jawaharlal Nehru for worrying about Pakistan's farmers, but not mentioning Indian farmers. This was said by S. Jaishankar, and he also said that India did not buy peace, but instead India appeased Pakistan. है ना? Now who said 80% water claim first? अब ये 80% water का claim सबसे पहले किसने किया? So let's try to understand. As you can see here, the claim that Pakistan got 80% of water was started by the Pakistan president called as Ayub Khan. This claim was started by Ayub Khan in 1960s, so that he can take the credit for the Indus water deal domestically. तो वो डोमेस्टिकली कहने लगे थे अयूब खान की पाकिस्तान को 80% शेयर मिल गया है. नाउ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग नाउ, है ना, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग नाउ currently? What is going on? India still does not control the flow of water to Pakistan fully because we lack enough dams on the western rivers, but dam projects are now being taken up and India is increasing its use of its share under the Indus Water Treaty. So this is the whole issue. So overall we can say that Indus Water Treaty of 1960 gave India full rights over the eastern rivers and Pakistan got most of the water volume from the western rivers. So a decision praised by the Nehru as peaceful, but now it is criticized by S. Jaishankar as appeasement policy. So overall we can say that Indus Water Treaty was hailed as a triumph of diplomacy, a victory of engineers over the ego as well as negotiation over nationalism. But in hindsight, it has also come to represent something far more complex actually. That is the cost. What is the cost of peace? The burden of partition and the clash between the visionary leadership and the real politics. Because Nehru believed that he was buying peace. Jaishankar says that it is appeasement. But the truth, it still flows somewhere in between. Just like the rivers that continue to bind, divide and define India and Pakistan. So as we face now new geopolitical realities, climate stress as well as water scarcity. But one thing is certain here. Now what is that thing? If we see that the treaty will no stay on paper for long. It will shape the subcontinent's future, just like it shaped its past. So what do you think? Was Nehru wise or was he weak? Was this treaty a masterstroke or a missed opportunity? So drop your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share this video with someone who loves history, diplomacy and bold truth. So let's bring the real political education back into the spotlight. That is one story at a time. Thank you so much.